All right, welcome back to another week. This week I've got the 2024 Genesis GV70 Electrified. Needless to say, I'm going to be spending the next week in absolute luxury while spending nothing on gas and a very little on electricity. So it's going to be really fantastic. I'm excited to show you this one. We did have it in 2023, so I was supposed to get a different vehicle this week. Things happened, and I ended up with this wonderful Genesis. How could I say no to it, even though we did it just 8 months ago? So let's see if there's anything changed. Let's see if my opinion has changed at all. So far, on the exterior-wise, still looks good. It looks pretty much the same as last year. There really is no exterior differences at all that I can notice right away just by walking around the vehicle. I like that we have those white brake calipers there. We had those last year too. The only difference really from last year so far exterior wise is the fact that it is gray, and last year I had a blue, and personally I actually think I might be liking the gray just a little bit more than I like the blue. I still like those daytime running LEDs. The front facing grille's very nice too. It is a very nice looking SUV, and the fact that it's electric makes it that much better. So let's hop in quick. I'll give you my first impressions of remembering what it was like to drive, because it's been 8 months, and I've driven a bunch of cars in between, so I've definitely kind of forgotten about it a little bit. But how could you forget this? How could you forget this white interior? It's just fantastic. Look at all the stuff going on in here. All right, I'm gonna mount you up there. We'll do my first impressions. Let's do it. All right, so as I said, this week we are driving in luxury, the Genesis GV70 Electrified. It doesn't get more luxurious than this. I mean, you can see my white seats, my white steering wheel. Hey, it's going to be a good old time. Not to mention that this week is my birthday, so what other week would I want to be very comfortable and not really worry about much? I think this is going to be a really good week. The only thing is that we've seen this car before. I've done this car before, so I'm really looking for the minute changes that I can find. I did it in 2023. This is a true 2024 model, so we're really going to go over things that I didn't get to cover. I'm going to do all the standard stuff too, in case this is the first time you're actually seeing a video of mine. I'm going to do all the standard stuff too. I'm going to take you through all of it, so don't worry. But initial first driving impressions are it actually handles better than I initially remember. I remember it not handling so well, or it's just because I've driven a bunch of cars in between then, and some of those cars have handled very poorly, so I now know what decent to moderate good handling looks like. So there's definitely that. We still have an abundance of performance. I've got a 160 kilowatt motor in the front and another one in the back. So this thing, all-wheel drive propelled, is an absolute bullet, coupled with the fact that I have a boost button that gives me a little bit more horsepower and just kind of lets the battery loose. Yeah, really fun. I've also got one pedal driving, so I can drive it with my right foot completely fine. The seats are fantastic. I've got a massage chair with me as well, which I probably will be using because it was that good on the Kia EV9, and I think it's the same kind of technology here for the Genesis GV70. I don't know if they'd had massage seats last year. It's either it did and I didn't, and I never noticed it. I never had time to pick it up, or the other thing. But one thing about this white interior is I found it a struggle the last time. I'm probably going to find it as equal a struggle as this time, is to keep everything clean, because anything in a white interior, you're guaranteed to notice it. So yeah. So let's go ahead, let's get on with the week. I don't know how long of a video it's going to be this week, because again, we've already seen it, so if there's not that many changes, it's not going to be that long of a video. But let's check it out, what it's like to live with a Genesis GV70 Electrified. Let's get into it. Just when I get rid of my pickup truck, I need it. I would have loved a pallet of wood over there, but these bags are going to have to do, because that pallet is not fitting in the trunk, even though it's quite big. But these will have to do for the fire pit later on. It fits perfectly, and I'm not damaging my nice carpet too. Alrighty, another morning with the Genesis GV70. Ooh, I like this gray even more. The more I look at it. I've been using just the wall outlet charger, so let's see, it was around like 80-90% last night. So let's see if we got anything close to 100. I'm thinking maybe there's a possibility of it, but I'm not getting my hopes up. So let's hop in. I'll also show you the startup as well, but look at this white interior. Oh my God, so nice, but I'm so paranoid that I'm gonna get dirty everywhere. So 395 km, doesn't really tell me the percentage on the dash here. Probably gonna have to actually start it up, so let's do that. 395. All right, let's go into, because it doesn't show you percentage on That's how much mileage totals on the car. My goodness, 336 km actually is what we are working with. So let's go EV. 89%. So maybe I got like 3% overnight. Yeah. Okay. Well, just under 400 kilometers on a full charge, maybe. So I'll probably plug it in at work for like an hour or two just to get it up to 100 because I want to see what that number truly is. And I'll let you know when I get it. All right, so it should be, let me unlock this. It should be fully charged now. Let's see. Right, you're gonna have to turn it on to see that. All right, it doesn't tell you that right away, but 405 kilometers. Oh no, that is wrong. Okay, I keep looking at the right side, but it's actually the left side. 389 kilometers on a 100% battery. Yikes. Okay. I feel like the competition is gonna be better than that. I feel like I've driven other cars that are higher than this. Okay, well, I mean, it's enough for what I need, but I don't know if that's enough for what everybody needs. It's interesting. Only 389. And it's warm out. It's not even cold. They don't even have that excuse. Interesting. All right, so I am now sitting inside the Genesis GV70 Electrified. So let's give you a little quick tour, but let's see what we think after 8 months. So far, though, I tell you, I don't really see any huge changes. Really nothing that I could, do without really looking at anything, which I haven't yet. So let's get into it. First of all, wonderful white, all white interior. Stresses me out because I really want to keep it clean for the video, but wonderful. I like it a lot. Then I have the really nice steering wheel. I like that they included in the steering wheel. They didn't just give us like a normal black one. It's not even black on the back or anything. It is fully white. Very nice. But it is going to get dirty quickly, as you can see here, that I have to already clean that because that's bothering me to no end. Buttons are really nice, very high quality as well. I've got lane keep assist, lane centering, adaptive cruise, the whole nine. I've got it all here, which is fantastic. Left-hand side, I've got my illumination controls, my hill descent climb, my traction control on or off. Then we have our fully digital gauge cluster, which is really, really nice looking, very cool to use. I have a couple of different screens, and then I can kind of choose what I want. And you can also be 3D. So check this out. I can press this button right here. And I don't know if you're seeing it on camera, but my eyes are seeing it. I don't know. I kept it on last time. I'm going to try to leave it off this time. I feel like I like it better off. And it also does like really quick animations when I switch from sport to my mode, back to comfort, which is what I'm usually driving in, back to eco, stuff like that. It does really look cool, and I like the snappiness and the responsiveness of it, so very cool with the gauge cluster there. I'll take it. That's probably not going to show up on screen that well, but I do have a heads-up display that's displaying my speed and stuff like that, so that's very nice. We've got this massive digital infotainment display that's going to give you your EV kind of thing. It's going to tell you your percentage, so you can see here, like I've shown you before, I've got just under 400 kilometers on a full charge. I've also got built-in navigation, stuff like that, HD radio, media, wired Apple CarPlay, and wired Android Auto. Yep, you heard that right. There's no wireless, which is crazy in 2024 that they didn't put it in. That is weird to me. Quiet mode in case you have kids. Seats, there's a whole bunch of seat controls and stuff like that. I can actually control the passenger seat from this menu right here, which is really cool. We like that. I've got ambient lighting controls. I'll try to get you a shot of what it looks like at night. It looks really, really good. Climate control you could also access through here. There's little animations for that, which looks really cool too. Basically standard stuff. And then last thing with the infotainment, I do have a 360-degree camera sensor, so I can kind of do a 3D render of the vehicle. It is not the color I have. I think that's a white one. It looks white anyways to me, but that's fine. No worries. I like that it's there. We also have parking sensors, stuff like that. And I also have terrain modes as well. I can press this and I have snow, mud, and sand. So we're kind of prepared for any weather here. All these materials here as well feel really, really fantastic. It's like this really nice material here on the lining as well. It's, everything's covered in very nice feel material. Start stop button is right over here. Then we have like a second screen for the HVAC controls. I like it, works really well. I have heated and ventilated seating as well as heated steering right here. I can do driver only, which is going to save me a bit of range, which I usually will do during the day here when I'm just by myself. But the only thing is it's like this stuff is like small. The buttons are a little on the small end, so you got to kind of be precise with your taps, But it's still, I really haven't had that much of a problem. Then I do have some physical stuff down here. I like the way this is laid out. This is where I was changing my drive modes from and also accessing the camera. Got some tuning knobs here, and I have like this scroll wheel. That's how I'm using this. This is actually a touchscreen. You can touch it, but I prefer to use this guy. You can also use it as like a trackpad, which is, they've got all three. You can touch, you can turn, and you can trackpad. This is the way to do it if you're going to do this. I like this a lot. The brake hold button is right here. We've got this nice shift knob here, very easy to use, very clicky. Then I have this guy. This is where my USBs are. 2 cup holders, a little bit of storage in here. Nice looking seats that can be controlled also by the passenger, which is nice. This passenger seat can be controlled. Of course, the drivers can't, but you can see it's a very, very nice layout, all white. Gonna be interesting to keep clean, but everything feels premium. So yeah, I am very comfortable. Once again this week, like I said, no massive changes that I can notice with my eye. I'm gonna have to try to dive into it and see if there really is any changes, but opinion still stays the same. Alrighty, so driving out of that little nice area. We're losing the sun a little bit, but there's some nice roads out here that we could I gotta talk to you about the handling. Right now, I'm just relaxing in eco mode, and I can already tell you, there's definitely, the torque is there, but the power is definitely gone from the pedal when you do that. So it is quite interesting to note that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a comfortable ride. You don't really use this for performance, although Genesis have given you a boost button on your steering wheel, which indicates that it can rip your neck out should you need it to. So the fact that we do have the best of both worlds, a little bit of performance and also a little bit of, comfort, or a lot of comfort actually. So the fact that we have, quite a bit of performance and a lot of comfort combined is kind of like the best of both worlds for people who realize that a vehicle like this actually exists. So that's going to be very fun to use too. So coming out onto the street here, let's just drive out. It's a very nice little area that I found recently as well. People local to Montreal might actually know where I am. And if you do, make sure you say something. Also, the brakes are weird. Like I have iPedal on, so like obviously my regen braking is on, but also like when you go and you need the brakes because you didn't time the regen right or whatever, it will come to a full stop. Like right now I'm on full regen, so it's gonna come to a full stop, no problem. But the thing is that when you do need your brakes, they take like a while to like grab. It's a weird feeling. Even in sport mode, it's kind of a strange little sensation. And like I've never had a point where I was worried about stopping. It's just like, I don't know, I feel like they could be a little bit better. So it turns in quite nicely. Like I can put a little bit of speed on it. There's a little bit of understeer to it as well, and I'm still in eco mode as well, and that's just there. But I think it handles relatively the same in all modes, but it's more like, if I pop it into sport mode where I get the throttle response, I get the performance of what I'm looking for, and the steering wheel becomes a little bit stiffer, and that kind of allows for a little bit more control, but the feeling is not really there. Like I can't put my tire, I feel like, where I want it to. But again, this is purely just for testing purposes. This isn't really like, oh, I don't think you should buy it because performance sucks. And for one, it doesn't. For two, it's not meant to be on the track at all. Like you're supposed to just, have a nice little drive with this. You're not really meant to push it to the absolute limit. So, and I'm not even going to be able to do that here. I am still like on public roads. So I can absolutely send this thing. Boom! Oh my God. And the ground is dry, and I still feel the car like, we're ready to break traction. That's crazy. And that's without even pressing the boost button. The boost button is a lot more faster, although I didn't have that much road to do it on. But look, so I can kind of, push it a little bit into these quarters here. And the regen braking kind of helps. Like I don't have to take my foot off and put it on the brake. It kind of brakes for me, and it brakes quite aggressively in sport mode. So that's very good as well. Like you can see, like I'm just kind of going through these, this little road here. And yeah, it's just like, it's really solid. I don't think I paid too much attention to the handling the last time that I drove the GV70. I think it was more like just using it as a weekly. So I'm kind of paying a little bit more attention because I've driven a couple more cars since then. So, I have a little bit more of a backlog to go through, such as when you're starting this journalism thing, you don't really have many cars to go off of. And now I kind of do. So yeah, the Genesis definitely isn't like a track focused thing that's also luxurious. It's more luxurious, but also it can rip your neck out, and these speed bumps are unfortunate. But you know what? I mean, that's kind of what it is. We're, like I said, we do still have to keep ourselves responsible. I don't want to, run through anybody's house or anything. Okay, so the Genesis GV70 has some unmatched ambient lighting. Let me show you. Let's hop in. It is super nice. I'm not even going to turn the lights on. I don't even need to, because look, I have it set to red right now. You can see like it's all illuminated here, all illuminated there. Even the back seat has a bar back there too, so it all looks fantastic. And it stays like this while you're driving, and surprisingly isn't that distracting. And I can also have a bunch of different color. Like here's purple, which looks really, really cool. Actually shines really well with the white in here. Then we have violet. We've got a blue that's really cool as well. And yeah, like it's just unmatched. This is probably the best ambient lighting kind of design that I've seen in any vehicle all year. So kudos there. Also, I'm at 94%, and to get to the rest is going to take me 5 hours. So that just gives you a reference of how slow the little wall outlet charger. I'm getting 0.6 kilowatts. But it's enough to get me to 100% because I don't have to drive for another, well, actually more than 5 hours I don't have to drive for. So pretty good. All right, back outside with the Genesis GV70 for the last time this week. I parked in a nice location because I was just finishing up some B-roll filming for the main review later on. And it just looks fantastic. You can see here in this light, in everything that it is. Really, really good looking. I like it a lot. I've loved it. This is, like I said, this is the press car that I've gotten to spend probably the most time with since doing this. I've gotten about 2 weeks with this thing, so really can't complain there. It's been really nice to drive, really nice to own. So yeah, let's hop in one last time, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so I look a little bit different than the beginning of the video. Got a haircut in between things. So anyways, let's do some final impressions for the Genesis GV70. So I think it's one of the first press cars I've actually been able to spend 2 weeks with. It's kind of the same car that I've gotten in like a different model year, but not a lot has changed. So technically I've spent, 2 weeks with the same car. And after 2 weeks, my opinion really hasn't changed that much. I mean, like, the range is still going to be an issue. I feel like they could have maybe bumped it up for 2024. Hopefully they do for 2025 because, everybody is giving longer batteries, bigger batteries, longer range, more efficiency, stuff like that. So in order to keep up with that side of things, they really need to up the game there. But in terms of like luxury, performance, like driving ability, stuff like that, this thing is just meant for to be the ultimate comfort electric SUV. But the fact that it has performance is a huge plus as well. And I think the price point is pretty competitive for what it is. Maybe not range wise, but definitely feature wise, comfort wise, material wise, price point is pretty competitive there too. I don't feel like I'm missing any features at all. Like I have everything that I want and then some. So that's fantastic. Like I'm driving in comfort mode pretty much all the time. And I'm just wafting over speed bumps, potholes. Like I don't feel anything. Like you can see, like I'm hitting some bumps now. I don't feel anything. It's just such a nice and smooth ride. And I think that's like, the market that Genesis goes after. And I think it's been really, really fantastic to just experience it for a second week. I don't know how much interest there is in the Genesis because the first video didn't do very well. So we'll see how this video does. We'll see if there's any more interest in 2024 than there was in 2025. But regardless of the fact, the few that are interested, I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. I hope you've enjoyed the week so far. But yeah, in closing, there really isn't much to add. I wish it had more range, but in feature wise, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a bullet and a half. And yeah, that's kind of, what sells in some ways too. And it's also extremely comfortable. So there is that as well. And then if you don't want the electric version, there's always the ICE version available, and you don't get the range anxiety that kind of comes with owning the electric vehicle version. Unless you have a home charger, you're probably fine with this. But see, I don't, and I have to charge before I bring it back. And so I'm going to try to plan it so I can go get groceries and plug at like a pretty fast charger at the same time. And yeah, so that's kind of what I have to do, because the wall outlet is going to take like 40 hours just to charge, basically a work week, you know, just to charge from, you know, all the way to 100%. It would take a really, really long time. So yeah, it said like 38 hours or something. I was like, whoa. So yeah, a lot of time to charge just with the wall outlet. So we need something with a little bit more juice, but we'll go and get it, and that's kind of where it is. So I'll go ahead and end the video off there. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe, because I do these week with videos on every single press car that I get my hands on. So I've got a special couple of cars coming up next. You're not going to want to miss. You're going to want to hit the subscribe button, turn on my bell notification, because YouTube subscription box sucks, and it will absolutely not show you when I upload a video. So if you want to be notified on what car I am driving that current week, make sure you put on the bell notification, because you'll get notified and you'll be able to watch the video right away. So with that being said, I will see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.